Hello guys, hope you are doing well. Today we are going to learn about component communication using emit and props in Vue.js. Let's start the tutorial. Today we will cover these points. First we will see overview about the emit and props. Then what is emit? How does emit work? What are props? How does prop work? So let's start with the first point. I will explain the emit and props using diagram. I have drawn one diagram here. Here you can see this is one parent component and these two are child component. Basically component communication can be achieved through emit and props. So component needs to share some data with each other to give the desired output. Basically emit follows the bottom to top approach. So we are passing some data from child to its parent, and props is exactly opposite to emit. So we are passing some data from parent to its child. So it follows the top to bottom approach. So this is the easiest way of passing the data between component using the emit and props. Next is what is emit. So I will explain in detail about the emit. So a component can use the emit function to generate the custom event from child component to its parent. So user can create, so we are already about the different kinds of events like click event, then mouse leave, mouse out, then blur. So these are some default JavaScript event. So user can create the custom event using this emit function. So it is the best way to trigger the certain events from the child component. So this is about the emit. Let's start the coding part so you can easily understand the how does emit work. Let me open the VS Code. I have created two components inside the Laravel and Vue project. I have run this project on the local server. So for that I have started the Apache and MySQL services on XAMPP server. Let me show you the application that I have run on the web browser. So this is I already run on localhost 8000 port. This is the output as I am from parent and child component. So this is the parent component. This statement is written from the parent component and the second statement is written from the child component. Let me show you the code. Here you can see inside our project directory, inside the components directory, we have created two new components, parent component and child. Inside the parent component I have written some basic script here, and I have used the child component inside the parent. Both parent and child component I have registered inside the app.js file, and I'm simply using that child component here. So let's start the coding. So we'll do one task here. So the example is we need to toggle the text value using this emit function. This is our task. So for that we need to add an emit function inside the child component. So let's start here. I will add here button element because I want to toggle one text value on click of button. So I need one button here first. This is the button element. Let me add here one text as a click. Along with that we need to add here click event, and we'll pass the emit function to this click event. So the syntax of emit function is $emit, and this is the emit function. So we need the parenthesis here. Inside this parenthesis we can specify the emit function that we want to trigger, or that we want to trigger from the child component. So I will add here each show. This is our emit function. Along with this text string value, we can pass here arguments like true, false, or any flag value we can pass, and we can access that value in the parent component. But right now I do not need to pass any argument here. I am simply using this value. So this is the syntax of emit function. Let's access this value in the parent component. Let me open the parent component here. So here we can access that value. For that, syntax is @ we need to copy that value here. Each show I am copying that value and pasting it here. Equals to, I will call here one method, get show value. Inside that I will pass here event. So I will define this function inside the method section. Let me define this method. And our task is to toggle the text value, right? So for that I will add here span tag here. Inside this span I will specify a text like show me. So we need to toggle this text value using the data property. So I will add here data property 1 is display. Initially make it as false, and we'll use this data property to toggle this element. So we can toggle means we can hide and show this text value. So to show and hide the value, element value, either we can use the vef or vshow. Vef, vshow, these are binding directives. I already explained these binding directives in my previous tutorial. My tutorial name is data binding in vuejs. I will add that link in the description box. You can refer that tutorial, and then you can able to understand the binding directives. So right now I am using here vshow. So vshow is basically we are using it to show and hide the text. So here this vshow directive can bind the data. So we will bind this is display value with the help of this vshow directive. So this text will display only when is display is true. This is how the logic will work. Okay, and by default we have already initialized this is display data property as false. So if we run this code, then it will not display this value because this is by default false. We will make it as true once the event will trigger. So for that, inside this get show value function, simply we need to access this is display variable using this keyword, and we will make it as true this dot is display. So exclamation mark indicates that it will return the opposite value, like right initially it is a false. Once we trigger this emit event, it will make it as we will make it as true. So let me explain the code again. So how it will work: when we click on the emit button, so it will trigger this emit function. It will pass this value to parent. Then we have called one method here, get show value. It will enter inside this method, and it will update the value. Like if it is a false, we will make it as true. If it is a true, we'll make it as false. In this way we will toggle this value. We are done with the code part. Let's see the output on browser. Let me reload the page. Yeah, here you can see click button that we have created. Right now I'm clicking on this button, it will display the show me text. Yeah, here you can see the text is displayed. If I click it again, it will hide that text. So in this way we can toggle this click event. So this is how we have done with the using the emit function. We have done the text toggling function. So in this way we can perform the various operations, like various event we can trigger using this emit function. Also we can pass the data from the child to parent using this emit. So this is all over about the emit. Next is props. Let me open the image again. So props, I already told you, the props basically follows the top to bottom approach, and it's a custom attribute which is used to pass the data from the parent component to its child. So component can use the various types of props such as string, number. So props means data, or data having any in different formats we can pass that data. So like a string, number, boolean, object, array, then function as well. So in this way we can pass the data from the parent component to its child. And one more thing I want to explain, like it's a key feature actually about the props. So like if you are passing any data from the parent to child, then that data child component can't able to modify that value, props value, because it's a read only. Only child component can access that value and use it. It can't, like child component can't be modify that value, and it's owned by the parent component. This is the key feature of the props. Let's see how does prop work. Come back to the Vue.js again. So we'll add the props code here inside the same component. I will use this, both the component parent and child. So syntax of props is we will pass the dynamic value, data value through this prop. So for that I will use one prop value as a name equals to, we need to pass here dynamic value. So I will initialize one variable here, like name. I will pass here string value, suppose Harry Potter. We'll use this data property inside the prop. So this is name, this right side value is the data property, and left side value is the prop name. So right now I have used the same name for the simplicity. Okay, if you can use the different name, like you can use any names here for the props value. Also we can pass the static value as well. If I remove this colon, it will make it as static value. So this is how we can pass the static value as well. But now I want to pass the dynamic value, so I am using the colon here. So we can access this or we can register this props value inside the child component. For that I will add here props. Inside the props I will paste that value. Along with that we need to specify the data type. As I already told you, we can pass the data in different formats. Like right now I just pass the string data, so I will specify the data type as a string. But if you want to pass any other data, like in the object format or in array format or in boolean, in number format, then you can specify according to the data. So I am just specifying the string as a data type because I am passing the string value. then I will access this value inside this template. For that I will add here one span element, and inside this span I simply am using curly braces or mosaic like syntax to access that props value. Simply I am using the name because inside the template we are not using the this keyword. So output, let's see the output. We are done with the code. Let me reload the page. Yeah, here you can see Harry Potter. So it's coming from the parent element that we have passed, okay, as a prop value. So in this way we can access the prop. So also we can access that prop value inside the methods as well, inside the script as well. So in this way we can use the emit and props using the we can access the prop data inside the component using this emit and props. So I think we have pretty much covered about the emit and props. I hope this tutorial will help you to understand the emit and props concept. So if you like this video, please click on the like button, and if you are new to this YouTube channel, then please click on the subscribe button. Also click on the bell icon so you will get the notification about my channel. We'll see you in the next tutorial. Goodbye, take care, happy coding.